Prime135 back here again with my review of Transformers The Last Knight Voyager Class Premier Edition Grimlock. And first off, let's take a look at the box for this guy. Here on the front, we've got a nice CGI render of Grimlock roaring. Comes around here to the side. Comes over the Transformer logo. Got the nice Autobot logo there on the side. Come around to the back, got the cross-cell of Optimus Prime, and the CAD render there of Grimlock. Now, for the first time ever, this guy is accurate to the CAD render. That's probably due to him being a holdover from Age of Extinction. 18 steps. On the other side, got a nice CGI render of Grimlock charging into battle. Legendary Dinobot Grimlock. And taking a look at the bottom, it is an authentic Transformer. Now, taking a look at Grimlock here in his Dino mode, this guy really kind of exemplifies what was wrong with the Age of Extinction line. Great engineering, great design, poor execution. The paint on that line was kind of all over the place. Each of the Dinobots, which were, I mean, they were kind of colorful in the movie, but were primarily just a metallic gray color, were given their own individual color schemes. Bright purple, bright blue. Grimlock here was a caramel color for whatever reason. That is not the case here with the Last Knight version. This Grimlock is a very, very nice metallic gray. Plastic itself has a metal flake finish to it. Got some nice kind of burgundy gray here in the back. Silver accents all over. This guy is beautiful to see in hand, or at least the color scheme is. The form here is a little bit misshapen here in the back compared to the CGI model, but not too bad. As far as features here in Dino mode, you can move the legs here at the hip. This become his shoulders, there at the knee, and I mean, I don't know why you'd want to, but you can move the heel spur. You can move his little dino arms, they're on a ball joint, nothing at the tail. And the jaw, if you push this button here, does open and close. And as far as his accessory, he does come with this rather large mace that you can plug into his tail here in Dino mode. You could do this one of two ways. You can put the whole thing on there and just give him a really, really long tail, or you can pull the handle off the mace and have a spiky-tailed T-Rex. You didn't really do this in the movie, so I tend to just leave the whole thing off to the side in Dino mode. Now, taking a look at him with some other figures from The Last Knight. Here he is with Optimus Prime in vehicle mode. And as you can see, being a bipedal T-Rex, he's quite a bit taller than Optimus Prime in his nice compact truck mode. And here he is with a deluxe from this line. There he is with deluxe class Barricade. You can see they look pretty good together. If you're a stickler for scale like me, this guy really isn't going to work with anything besides the other Dinobots in the line, and maybe some of the Knight figures like Deluxe Steelbane, the apparently upcoming Leader Class Dragonstorm, depending on how big they are in the movie, but it looks like they're going to scale pretty good with this guy. Yeah. There they are. And since he is just a repaint of Age of Extinction Grimlock, and all the other Dinobots will be as well, here he is with Strafe, the only Dinobot that I actually got from the Age of Extinction line. And Strafe is quite a bit slimmer, but with the wingspan is actually a little bit bigger than Grimlock. Just to show that off. And it's a lot more apparent here in person. His wingspan really does dwarf this guy. And now taking a look at him with some other Grimlocks from over the years, just to see kind of how the character has changed. Here he is with G1 Grimlock. I mean, this is a G1 figure, so he's quite a bit bigger. And Grimlock here is, this Grimlock at least, is based on the old interpretation of a T-Rex with the tail dragging along the ground. Here he is with animated Grimlock. About the same size. Animated Grimlock's a bit bulkier, but he's from a different time, when toys could be bigger and cheaper. And lastly, here he is with Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. Just to see how they look together. Now let's get this guy transformed into robot mode. Now, there really are not really two full transformations, but there are a couple of different ways you can transform this guy that will affect the articulation, and I will show those off in bot mode. So first of all, you want to come here to the back, unpeg the legs from each other, and bring them down. They will just, these tabs go up into some slots in there. Here, into there. Untab those, bring them down. Then you want to bring the legs up. Get them out of the way. Bring his robot legs all the way down, and you can go ahead and take these rib cage pieces and bring them around to the front. And they will tap in right there on the front of the thigh. And you can come down and bring up the feet. And come around here to the back. First of all, bring these horns up. Split the head. Well, first take this piece, bring it back, and it will just tab into a couple of slots right there. Then split the head. Well, first pull the head up. These two tabs go into that slot there. Split the head, and you want to thread this piece between the pieces of the head and bring it down. Then you'll want to rotate his robot head here at the front. If you haven't already, bring the chest section all the way down, and it should tab in. Go around here to the back, and bring that dino sections up. They will peg in here at the shoulders. Got a peg here, goes into a hole there. Alright, and then come around here to the back, just bring that section up and back, flatten it out, bring the dino arms back, wrap them around the waist. And now here at the arms, this is where there really are a couple different ways to transform this guy. So the instructions tell you to unpeg this section from here, rotate the whole thing 180 degrees, and there is a peg that will go in that way. Now, as you can see, when you do it like this, he has no elbows, or at least no forward elbows. Very stiff-armed. Now, it makes him have a little bit wider kibble here in robot mode, but what I prefer to do is to unpeg that, rotate the hand around, and just leave it there at the side. This does give him the added benefit of a wrist swivel and frees up that elbow articulation. So that's how I'm going to leave him for the rest of the review. Bring the heel spur back, bring it up. There we go. And let me get something to make my stand taller, because apparently it's not tall enough. Alright, and here is Grimlock in his robot mode, and I have to say he looks pretty good, aside from these chunks of dinosaur hanging off his arms and the fist, which are quite honestly a bit too big. He is, all things considered, extremely accurate to the CGI model. The CGI model for these knight-type characters, which I guess is Hasbro taking their use of melee weapons to its logical extreme. These knight-type characters are covered in detail in the movies. They honestly look like they're made of living rock more than metal. So I can forgive Hasbro for some slight inconsistencies with this guy's design. Taking a look at the head sculpt here. Unfortunately, this is one of a couple of parts on this guy that are this unpainted light gray plastic that Hasbro seems to have become fond of using. Forgot to show it off here back in Dino mode, but he does have some nice molded in eyes picked out in red. Blue here in robot mode. Don't know if that's something that's going to be a thing in the movie. I think his eyes were still red in bot mode in Age of Extinction, but we'll see. Got the teeth ornamentation picked out in silver there. Nice silver paint on the forearms. Or the shoulder sections. The forearms are done in that metallic gray plastic. Same thing with the hip skirts. Nice silver on the knees, and that comes down to some of that metallic burgundy here on the feet. Now, as far as articulation, head is on a rotation. Can go about that far in either direction before it starts running into stuff. It actually is on a platform for transformation, so we can kind of look down. If you got some little Legends class figures to put down in front of him. Can't really look up without dislodging this section here. Come to the shoulders. These were the Dino mode hips, so we have a nice range up. The Dino heads can rotate up to get out of the way. Full 360. Come down here to the elbow area, got a bicep swivel. And if you transform it like this, you have an elbow. If you don't... Sorry, got an emergency alert on my phone, apparently. There's a flood warning for this region. If you peg it in like this, you get nothing at the elbow aside from some inward bend, which really isn't useful. And once again, if you leave this unpegged, you also get a wrist swivel. Nothing at the waist, unfortunately, which was a hallmark of Age of Extinction, and appears to be the same for the last night. Now we can come down here to the hips. That front skirt can get out of the way for a nice high kick. Rotation here at the upper thigh. Just come out. That is limited here by these hip skirts. Come down here to the knee, a little bit under 90-degree knee bend, and you can, as a virtue of the transformation, point his kind of elf shoe toes. That's about it for articulation. So I'll be right back with some comparisons for this guy. Oh, one more thing. He doesn't have ankle tilts built into the feet, but these lower shin sections can rotate down. So you can get him in a bit of a wide-legged stance. Alright, now I'll be back in just a second with some comparisons. Alright, and before we get going with some comparisons for this guy, he can hold his mace here in robot mode. However, unfortunately, he can't hold it by the actual staff section of the mace. you can only hold it by this little handle here, which kind of doesn't look so good if you're doing anything besides having him stand there all imposingly with it. Like so. Now, I know there have been modifications online, both to the mace staff itself and to the hands for Grimlock, so he can hold it. I probably won't be doing that, but we'll just have to wait and see. And that does come off at the drop of a hat. Much easier than getting the actual mace in and out of his hand, by the way. Now, taking a look at some size comparisons here with this guy. There he is with Barricade from the last night. He doesn't want to stand for whatever reason. As you can see, Barricade hits this guy just about the waist. And taking a look at him with Optimus Prime, they are just about the same height if Grimlock will stand up straight. Pretty much the same height. Optimus is maybe a hair taller. Not much. As I said, if you really want scale with this guy, you're going to have to put him on a shelf by himself with the other Dinobots, because he was like, he absolutely dwarfed Optimus in the movie. Optimus, I think, hit him maybe mid-thigh, maybe lower than that. As I said before, they are redoing all the Dinobots for this movie, so here he is with Age of Extinction Strafe, just to get an idea of how those guys will look together. Here he is with G1 Grimlock. And let's just go ahead and get all the Grimlocks in here. This poor guy. You know, he actually used to stand up pretty good. There he is with G1. And let's go ahead and get as many in the frame as we can. He is with animated Grimlock as well. And as before, a bit taller than animated Grimlock, but animated Grimlock is a whole lot bulkier. And there he is with... No! Alright, we'll just put him up. Poor guy. There he is with Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. And Fall of Cybertron Grimlock, while looking a bit bulkier, being a bit taller, is actually quite a bit lighter than this guy. Well, I say that. No. Just taking into account the plastic itself and how he really feels in hand, this guy does seem to be quite a bit lighter. The majority of his weight actually comes from this battery compartment back here. Getting those guys out of the way. So to be totally honest, this guy probably is my least favorite from the line so far. He's got decent articulation, the paint, the color work is absolutely amazing, but he just, to be honest, he's not new. He doesn't have the same, I guess, he doesn't have the same design sensibility as the other Last Night figures, and that comes from him being a holdover from Age of Extinction. The whole mantra for Age of Extinction was get from one mode to the other as quickly and efficiently as possible. Now, that resulted in things like this arm kibble, this half of a T-Rex jaw hanging off of his butt. And while there is certainly things like car kibble present in the new Last Night figures, they just seem to have a bit more thought put into them overall. They're not, I mean, all of these are aimed at kids, but they don't seem to be as aimed at kids as the likes of Age of Extinction. The best way I can put it is it's like comparing the Prime First Edition figures with the rest of the Prime line. The Prime RID line that came later. They just seem to be not really more complex, but just a bit more fun, I guess. I don't know. I don't exactly know how to explain it. They just have a quality that this guy really doesn't. If you can get him for a decent price, go ahead and pick him up. I know the Voyager class is still $25 at Walmart. For the $30 full price he's going at Target and Toys R Us, I don't know if I can really recommend this guy. Like I said, he's not bad, he's just not great either. He kinda just exists. And maybe that's just a virtue of me not having the Age of Extinction figure to compare him to. I know I do like the colors on this guy a lot better on the Age of Extinction figure than the ones on the Age of Extinction figure. Maybe that would be a bigger factor if I had the original in hand, but unfortunately I don't. So yeah, that's the Last Night Voyager Grimlock, and I think I will be back Monday with a new RID figure to review. So until next time, this is Prime135.